Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Vortex, where lies and falsehoods are trapped and exposed. I'm Michael Voris. 2 steps. That's all it takes to jump backwards from the collapse of America to the Democratic Party. The step in between is the United States Catholic bishops, the biggest, most hidden enemy of the Republic you never knew you had. Call them the America Last bishops. They are both the largest promoters of the Democratic Party agenda talking points and policy issues, as well as the largest recipient of government largesse. Understand the connection? The same group of leaders responsible for so much damage in the church are at the same time the same group of men responsible for so much of the destruction of America. Allow us to explain. Aside from their utter and devastating silence on the destruction of the family caused by divorce, remarriage, abortion, and contraception, again, all Democratic Party highlights, they have also promoted other major Marxist agenda items like abolishing the Second Amendment, destroying the nation's borders, pushing the phony narrative of man-made climate change, and going along with the attack on freedom of religious speech. Might as well throw in the lockstep approach to the COVID lockdowns for good measure, not to mention refusing to even consider the questions surrounding the results of the 2020 vote. They rushed LA Archbishop Gomez's congratulatory note towards Biden's win so fast it was biblical. So in 3 cases, they stay mum. Call those their sins of omission. On 4 items, they pull out the pom-poms. These are their sins of commission. Let's focus, shall we, on those 4, the sins of commission, mostly because the other 3 and their complicity in them has been so well documented. America is becoming less and less of a country every day. In fact, it's becoming difficult to even envision America as an actual country, as we once understood it, those of us who are older. First, there is no country where there is no border. Yet the bishops have gone along with and gotten paid billions of dollars to help keep the border as non-existent as possible. It is largely official Catholic efforts, official meaning blessed by the bishops, that spirit illegals around the country by the millions and dump them in thousands of mostly conservative communities, upsetting the natural balance of life and straining local resources. They do it, of course, in the name of charity. It's the most charitable group on earth, right? But they're really doing it for that fat wad of cash they get from D.C. year after year after year. Note, half the U.S. bishops' annual budget comes from the Democratic Marxists who run the federal government. Let that sink in for a minute. Moving on, when Cardinal Timothy Dolan and Cardinal Cupich and Cardinal Tobin all came out very recently in favor of Americans, meaning you, giving up your gun rights, essentially gutting the Second Amendment, told you all you need to know. First, each one of those men walks around with an armed escort or quickly has access to them, yet they want you to hand in your guns. Might as well just put a donkey on a chasuble. We don't mean the donkey Our Lady or Our Lord rode. Imagine the gall of the American hierarchy telling Americans to abandon the Second Amendment. Let that sink in for a moment as well. Then we shift to the ridiculous claim that man is causing changes in the climate when the only consensus on that subject is among scientists whose research is funded by the same government actors that pay them to reach that conclusion. If you reach any other conclusion, you are cut off from the academic community. Academic community, please. It's exactly the same as when toothpaste manufacturers tell you on TV that 9 out of 10 dentists say blah, blah, blah. When those dentists draw on expensive luxury vacations, junkets, paid for by the same toothpaste companies conducting the survey. The 1 out of 10 dentists who didn't agree, well, he and his wife don't get invited to Fiji next year. That science has been co-opted as just another Marxist institution is pretty well established at this point, especially between 2020 and 2022. Follow the science means nothing more than follow the money. And the money leads to an easy conclusion, even if the bishops don't care to see it. Climate change is about destroying families to reduce the global population. It has nothing to do with saving the planet. If you haven't noticed, its biggest cheerleaders hate kids, born and preborn. And of course, there's the growing assault on religious free speech, like that subject we covered in yesterday's Vortex, going on right here in Michigan, that the bishops realize if they speak out against, oh, well, the money might dry up. You know, the Michigan Catholic Conference has said nothing about that proposed Michigan law, which will probably become law by the end of the summer. But then again, that presupposes the bishops actually believe religion at all, much less Catholicism, so why would they speak up? There's absolutely zero sunlight between the U.S. bishops and the great big blue donkey. They are indistinguishable. But if you're a Marxist, it's a great investment. You get the blessing of the supposedly holy crowd on your anti-God agenda. And if you're a bishop, you don't believe in the church anyway, so why not cash in on your office? We'd venture to say it's a marriage made in heaven, but neither of those camps really believes in heaven. The U.S. bishops need to lose their tax-exempt status. While they don't actually directly campaign for or against a particular candidate, wink, wink, nod, nod, they absolutely partake in partisan politics for only one single party. In election years, they're out there with their ridiculous mushmouth voter's guide, which says absolutely nothing. And in off years, they're continuing to work with the party of death to kill off America. The America Last bishops, that's all they are. Silent on intrinsic evils, bullhorns and pom-poms for all the rest. It's time for a defund the bishops movement. God love you. I'm Michael Voris.